Hi everyone, Simon here from Higher Plane Games and welcome to the Formula 1 1975 mod. Top speed 360 kilometers per hour, 800 grams of weight. It's an open wheel road category. I love what the person that's made this mod has done with the design of these cars. They feel like they've got light shining on them and that they've got kind of a glossy paint on them compared to other cars which quite often look a little bit duller. I've also gone for some attempt of some sponsorship on the back. I will get confused with the names. I started recording this and I kept on calling Mario Andretti Michael Andretti. I was starting to show my 90s and 80s roots rather than my 70s. This is before my time, so please be kind as we wander through. I've done nothing with the actual stats here as well, so this is as you get the mod. This does feel like a good one though to be showcasing some of the historical tracks. So we're going to put on Kailami, historical, the old Zandvoort, historical, the old Silverstone, I'm assuming that is historical. Then we've got to have the Nordschleifer on there, surely, as round 4. Now we do have vintage Castellet, Aintree, Reims Go. Don't know what Setsu is being there as a historical track. I don't actually know that track at all. But they don't have AI as far as I know sorted out. So we're going to skip all of those and then we're going to go to the 1980s version of Hockenheim. Oh yes, big long straights. And then we'll finish up with Anderstorp. Because I don't think Shah Alam is actually a real circuit. I've decided it's not. Let's offend everyone. So a 6-round circuit. What I'm going to do though is we're going to go long. So we're going to go 30 laps. We're going to do qualifying for 1 lap, 100% AI. We're going to leave it with clear and we're going to do variety of tyres. So we're going to bring that forward from like modern era tyres back to like 1970s stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to remove boost so that they don't have ERS. I was sitting here thinking, do we do turbo or not? And I'm just thinking, do you know what? Let's make it slightly different. And I'm still umming and erring over whether or not we put in some like 10% of rain. But then the problem is that it's always 10% of rain every race. So I wish that it was just like looking at it across a championship, if that makes sense. So that you got like one race that would be wet for a period of it. So we're going to kind of leave those as they are. What we will do is we will do soft and hard tyres though, so that you've got 2 compounds. Yeah, it's different in it. So let's get going. Here we are then at Kailami for round 1 of the season. I'm going to butcher so many of these names and I always get confused between the teams because they look quite similar. All of the different things there. Clay Regazzoni currently out front though in the Ferrari, ahead of Niki Lauda in the other Ferrari, so I can get those 2 right at least. Although, is Ronnie Peterson about to steal that front row? Doesn't look like it. I think we're okay. No, it's a Ferrari front row ahead of the Lotus of Ronnie Peterson. Then Enzo Fittipaldi in the McLaren. Hesketh up in 5th with James Hunt. Jody Scheckter in 6th for the Tyrrell ahead of Jochen Mass. Carlos Reutemann, Jackie X, Carlos Pache in the Brabham rounds out the top 10. Then the 2 shadows of Tom Price and Jean-Pierre Jarier, who I keep on calling Jabouille in my head. I need to really stop doing it. Patrick Pallier, 13th, ahead of Mazzario, Vittorio Brambilla, and Zertel, Mario Andretti, in the Parnelli, which has totally escaped my name as a team. Is that a real team? Doesn't feel like it. I'm sure it is. I've just offended lots of people. Jack Lafitte in the Williams. And of course Williams there in not a Williamsy blue livery before they even went to the Saudi colours, so that dates it. Leila Lombardi in the March, our female driver, and John Watson back of the grid. About to do a Long Beach 1982 on us, maybe. So, hard and soft tyres, big difference between the two, but Clay Regazzoni holds the lead. Ronnie Peterson goes up to second, though, as Nicky Lauda on the soft tyres gets bullied out wide. Now he's making his comeback up through the field, though. Hard tyres last from lap 17 to 23, softs just 10 to 16, so Lauda's got to go quickly as they make their way around the track. No boost, of course, as well. So slipstream, a real priority here. Lauda back up to second then, starting to attack teammate Clay Regazzoni. Oh, give him a little love nudge round that bottom of the circuit, and then using that slipstream to push through. Of course, actually, Nicky Lauda more damage. That's going to affect his straight line speed, and Regazzoni runs wide. Enzo Fittipaldi runs up into second position. It looks like Carlos Reutemann quite fancies and look through to get that third and final podium slot. Of course, soft tyres, so they're needing to get ahead, just like Enzo Fittipaldi is, taking the lead back. Or, well, for the first time, actually, isn't he? Now straight there, Reutemann's getting his little look in as well. James Hunt looking a bit damaged, as is Ronnie Peterson starting to drop back. Jochen Mass too. Damage is going to be a big factor in this game because those hay bales are movable. So you need to make sure you don't spank them and put them in the track. As Lauda and Reutemann leapfrog Enzo Fittipaldi as they get into their stride, really starting to pull away. Now is the time to make sure that your soft tyres run well, as Vittorio Brambilla is doing, pushing Mazzario out wide into the hay bales, and into the pits they come. So does James Hunt. They've dragged John Watson with them. I'm not sure Watson wanted to pit, but he's in now, and look at the trio of them all dropping back down the field behind Tom Price, who's already made a pit stop as well. Hunt and Mass have also been in there, the top runners. Jody Scheckter we missed coming for a pit in the Tyrrell as well, as Mass there has a bit of a slow cornering. Ronnie Peterson there comes back out in 7th position, back onto hard tyres. In theory could make it to the end. Feels like they should do a second stop though. And here comes Nicky Lauda in lap 7, so very early, too early really to make that. And look, he's going softs again, so he's clearly thinking the strategy is soft, soft, soft all the way. Don't tell your lover all about that. Ooh, Carlos Reutemann being pushed right way out there by Fittipaldi. Regazzoni sneaks into second. Reutemann, I think, will be in the pits, as is Clay. Enzo takes the lead then. Through goes Pache. Through goes Lauda. There we go. That was the importance of getting the undercut as well as get... Oh, free wide! As that's Ertl in the second of the Heskeths, trying to get up the order. Didn't kind of work. Lost out 3 positions straight away. They're about to lose one to his teammate as James Hunt pushes him around the hairpin at the bottom. I think Ertl might be into the pits this time around. Yes, he is. Through goes Price. John Watson started last, currently running 11th. Ooh, make that 12th. Oh, it might be 13th in a second, but has pitted as he tries to get past Jarier. There's Depailler. Mario Andretti making his way up the field. Jochen Mass right to the back. It was looking so good early on as he loses another position to Jackie Ickx. Into the pits comes Mario Andretti, and crucially our leader Enzo Fittipaldi. There we go, Mario. Get a move on. Carlos Pache in too. Into the lead then goes the early stopping Nicky Lauda with Clay Regazzoni in behind. So this is the 2 soft tyres. They're going to need to make another stop. Ronnie Peterson, you'd imagine, would have to as well in third. Enzo Fittipaldi, he's gone for the soft tyres as well, but this is a much more in line with what we thought would happen strategy, if you know that makes sense. Ooh, we're going to get right past Mario Andretti straight out the back there. Then Lombardi next up in her march. Out of the way she gets punted. That's the battle for last. Although Depailler there coming in with a heavily damaged car. Not doing well. Tom Price gets lapped in the shadow. Not having a good day for him, but it is Lauda and Regazzoni then up front, having a good old squabble as Jacques Lafitte gets shuffled out wide and indeed into the pits. This is all about survival. As that is Fittipaldi then up into third, then it's Peterson, Reutemann, Scheckter we haven't really seen anything of. Hard tyres, 1 stop, up into 6th, nice clean race. Though Tom Price doesn't want to be lapped, does he? I think that's the problem with just being shuffled out wide, having a dodgy stop. As James Hunt pops a lap onto Depailler, and that gets him clear of Mazzario, who comes in for his second stop. Don't drop too far down, puts Hans Ertl up into 10th place in the second of the Heskeths. Ooh, that's from Brambilla there, running into issues early on. And that's John Watson in for what's going to be a third stop to join Mario Andretti in for a third stop. Carlos Pache in as well for a second stop. Ertl's in. But look, here's our duo back up together again as they pop another lap on Mario Andretti. It started out like a really tight field, but it's spread out massively over the course of this race, depending on whether you've had to stop or not, and if you've been pushed into barriers or not. I think, yep, Enzo Fittipaldi in. Now, do you go soft tyres and make it to the end? I think you do. So, Fittipaldi's the one that's blinked early. He's out ahead of Niki Lauda, who has done a second stop, also onto soft tyres. But again, is it too early? Carlos Reutemann there, the real... Oh, Reutemann's in. Follows in Regazzoni, gets himself off those hard tyres. They can both get to the end on softs now. I think everyone can, but it's a matter of staying clean. As Reutemann comes out behind James Hunt, who is a little bit through on his tyres, but that could... you could just about make it to the end. Look at this for a gaggle of lapped cars. Niki Lauda trying to make his way through to Pallier, Lombardi, Ix in there as well as they all pit. Oh, James Hunt harassing Lauda, and he's going to find a way through. No, he catches himself on the grass and the curbs. Fittipaldi lives to fight another day, but that car is heavily damaged. Regazzoni's is not, and this is going to potentially mean Fittipaldi in. Yes. Third stop, it's all unravelled for Enzo Fittipaldi, who looked like he was on for potentially a great win there, and now he's down in 6th position. Gets out just ahead of Scheckter, who I think was popping in for a stop. Nope. He's okay. What are we doing up front? Ronnie Peterson's played himself into position here, pushing Carlos Reutemann along. That's not the line you take, though. It's got rid of John Watson, but James Hunt looking damaged, but I think he might try and stay out on this one. It's borderline. He's got a little bit of smoke pouring out of the back of the Hesketh. Will he pit? Will he not pit? I think he might, you know. Yeah. In from 4th position. That hands 4th position to Enzo Fittipaldi. Hunt out ahead of Niki Lauda. Again, another 3-stopper going on. So it's all about, so you can see loads of cars in for a third stop, a 4th stop. Mario Andretti's been in 5 times. That's just bullying and harassment. As they make their way around. Clay Regazzoni, though, 2-stopping, as is Carlos Reutemann. That hard-tired run really playing in for Carlos, and now look at him. Uses a slipstream, dives past Regazzoni. Ix runs out wide. They can bounce off him. Same for Mario, and there we go. We've now got a back marker between Reutemann and Regazzoni, and a bit of clear track ahead, so Reutemann can just chill and try and bring his car closer to perhaps a win. Seemed to be slightly faster on the straights as well. He's got slightly less damage than Regazzoni has. Got Vittorio Brambilla's March, I believe that is up ahead. Jean-Pierre Jarier as well. Spot the Frenchman. Lombardi struggling to get into the pits. It looks as if some of the hay bales might have moved slightly there with how people are moving. Oh, Niki Lauda's in trouble. That's 6th place. He's chose to go on. Oh, this could be a risky strategy for Niki. Let's see how it goes, as that is a battle for 3rd place being won by Enzo Fittipaldi. He's stopped one more than he should have done, but he's got himself through, and Ronnie Peterson is in trouble there, and he might not even make it across the line if he keeps getting bashed up by Mazzario, as Carlos Reutemann is under attack from Regazzoni down towards the turn 1. Clay Regazzoni goes down the inside, takes the lead from Carlos Reutemann on the final lap here at Kailami. Wow. I didn't expect that. Clay Regazzoni, more damaged, better tyres. No, the same tyres, really. Clay Regazzoni wins the Grand Prix from Carlos Reutemann. Enzo Fittipaldi ends up back in 3rd. Peterson's going to make 4th, just ahead of James Hunt to 5. Niki Lauda's going to grab 6. Jody Scheckter, a very quiet race, but effective for 7. Jean-Pierre Jarier is in 8th, ahead of Mazzario, just. Then it's Carlos Pache, Jacques Lafitte, Jochen Mass, Vittorio Brambilla. Then it is Hans Ertl, Jackie Ix. Oh no, Ix gets ahead of Ertl. Price. De Pallier, Watson. well, it was looking good for the Parnelli early on, but the Parnellis went south very quickly there. 18th and 20th with Lena Lombardi in between. So I forgot I'd left my old point structure on. Never mind. So what does that do after round one? Juicy. Here's your running order, and Ferrari leading a Constructors' Championship. Clearly this is not 2022, is it? Then we've got Brabham, McLaren, Lotus, Hesketh, Williams up into 6th, ahead of Tyrrell's 7th placed. Shadow March and Parnelli round out your top 10. So here we are, off to Zandvoort. The old version of Zandvoort, it must be said. No banked final corner. You get more hay bales, although they're slightly less risky here. Apart from that corner where it's all pushed out wide. Jesus. Okay, maybe there is going to be some risk here. But it's James Hunt leading the way in the Hesketh, just about from Clay Regazzoni. Is they going to cross the line together? Who gets it? That looked bang on for me. James Hunt. 0.03 of a second from Regazzoni, then Fittipaldi and Lauda. The low tie of Peterson and Ix behind. Reutemann's Brabham. Pallier up in 8th for Tyrrell. Bit of a feat. The two Parnellis running much better this time with Watson and Andretti 10 and 11. Ahead of Price, Mazzario. Scheckter down in 14th this time for Tyrrell. Ahead of Mass in the McLaren. Pache, not a good quali for him in the Brabham. Ahead of Brambilla, Ertl, Jarier and Lombardi. Quite convincingly the slowest there this time around. Okay, most drivers on the hard tyres, and that's because softs only last 8 to 12 laps and the hards 13 to 17, and James Hunt gets pushed onto the grass, really lost out there to Fittipaldi and Regazzoni. Dives through and smashes Ix into the tyres there. Well, I say tyres, the everything that's going on with hay bales, and that has really left the marches towards the back, and Jody Scheckter looks absolutely stomped too. So does Tom Price. I think there'll be pitters at the end of lap 1. Oh, they are. Oh, Jackie Ix has missed the pits. Ertl's pushed the... Oh, no. This could be a drama. Mazzario's in trouble too. Oh. We might have some issues. Mazzario there is stuck with the hay bale. We're going to have to push some cars around. But Clay Regazzoni currently leads the way from Fittipaldi, Lauda, Hunt, Reutemann, Peterson, Jacques Lafitte. They're looking very slow in a straight line compared to Jochen Mass with the slipstream. Watson up to 9th, then it's Pache from his poor start up to 10th, then Andretti, Jarier, Lombardi was last, now 13th, then Pallier, Price, Scheckter, that's Mazzario has now got going. Yeah, look, I think we're okay. They've pushed the tyre barrier into the right places. Brambilla, Ix, as Mazzario now lapped down at the back. Regazzoni is off and running though. Looking quite juicy up front, but it is the 3 soft-tyred runners leading the way. Ooh, James Hunt running very wide. That's going to allow Carlos Reutemann in the Brabham, I believe that is, to have a good squabble through, maybe? No. Oh, no, look at that slipstream. Blast his way through into Tarzan, up into 4th position. Great stuff there. Peterson, Mass, Lafitte, Watson, Pache, all kind of there. Get back to Andretti and Lombardi, and De Pallier is the top pitter in the Tyrrell, and he's onto hard tyres as well, so that's looking quite good for him. Price and Scheckter kind of running around, and then Hertl's holding up Mazzario, who's desperate to try and get through, and those two I think are going to slow each other down because one's trying to unlap the other and then can't get away enough to stop the blue flags triggering. So Enzo Fittipaldi takes the lead from Clay Regazzoni. They need to not take each other out and off because they've got quite a mighty run over Niki Lauda at the moment. But I was going to say, is that going to trigger an Enzo Fittipaldi pit stop? The answer is absolutely yes. What does that do? That puts him out just around his teammate Jochen Mass on the hard tyres. Side by side they go. Fittipaldi should have the grip. Oh, he doesn't have the line though, and onto the grass he goes. And this is crucial there for Enzo Fittipaldi. His teammate Jochen Mass holding him up. Ronnie Peterson's Lotus there also in the way. I think he'll pit with that amount of damage. Oh, he's in the barriers as well. Lauda into the pits from what was 2nd position. Mass in, Peterson in. And you can see Fittipaldi has been leapfrogged by Niki Lauda. That was the problem there. Lauda on hard tyres as well, and less damage, and clearer out of that hairpin. So, real problems there for Enzo Fittipaldi for the second race in a row, throwing away potential victory with issues on this time being overcut rather than undercut. Through goes Carlos Reutemann then into the lead with his Brabham. Regazzoni does get out ahead of teammate Niki Lauda, but they're side by side. Regazzoni for his own... Oh, he's got a penalty. 3 seconds for pushing Lauda into the wall. Clearly the steward's out in full force today. Must be Emanuele Pirro, he loves a penalty. Anyway, Carlos Reutemann leading the way currently. Yet to stop. Lauda, Regazzoni, Fittipaldi, Hunt, Mass, your top 6. Watson was in 7th before his pit stop, but he's lost out quite a bit there as Jacques Lafitte moves up into 7th. Not seen much of him so far this season. Nor de Pallier, who was our top single pitter, but slowly starting to shuffle back now, as that's Peterson being shuffled wide by Watson after his mistake. Lombardi, who was slowest to qualify and the only one over the 2-second mark, she's got herself up into 11th at the moment, so that's good. Ahead of Andretti, Pache, Jarier, then a big gap back to Pierce, Scheckter, who's been in for a second time, as is Tom Price actually. But yeah, it's all about who can be juicy and stay to their strategy as best as possible. Carlos Reutemann has been the one so far, but Regazzoni takes that lead back. It's one of the marches in, I think that was Brambilla. Yeah, for his second stop. Lauda gets through into second as well. If I was Reutemann, I would probably go for one more lap and then pit and switch to hards maybe again. Yeah, look at the way how he's able to just absolutely steam it down as Ertl's in for his second stop too. Comes out on softs, that's a bit ambitious. I need to pit again. And look, Reutemann, there is such a big slipstream vibe here. You're just able to push your way back through again, and Reutemann goes again. I was going to say, you pit now, that's pretty much half distance. Get onto hards, make it to the end. That's exactly what he's doing, rejoined in 4th position, well clear of James Hunt on the soft tyres. This could work out quite nicely if he stays clean and clear, as Clay Regazzoni comes up to the recently pitted Maida Lombardi to pop a lap on the March driver. But yeah, nicely spread out here at the moment, and people staying clean. So it's Regazzoni, Mass, Lauda, Mass, Reutemann, Hunt. He's got Fittipaldi well clear. Then it's Jacques Lafitte battling with John Watson over 7th and 8th positions. Ronnie Peterson not far behind. In at 9th in the Lotus. Yeah, Parnelli I think will be very pleased to see this after what was an atrocious round 1. Mario Andretti up to 11th as well as Jacques Lafitte peels into the pits. Gets himself back going again. Does that get him out ahead of Bram de Pallier? Yes, it does. Mario Andretti's just behind. Carlos Pache in at 12th. Then it is Jarier. Tom Price about to be lapped by Clay Regazzoni. It's got Jody Scheckter for company. And the Lombardi behind. That's Jochen Mass into the pits. Rejoining in 6th. Brambilla Ix in trouble there in the... I'm assuming that's a shadow. And Regazzoni is in from the lead. That passes the lead back to Niki Lauda. So Regazzoni rejoins behind Carlos Reutemann. The gap isn't huge though. I think multiple stops has been the answer here. Reutemann may be the gentlemanly staying out of trouble driver for this race and has gone for the one stop on the hard tyres. It has not worked out. This is not F1 Manager 22 where hard tyres and medium tyres are ridiculously overpowered. and one cannot be bothered with the soft tyres. In this race it's all about the softs. Niki Lauda though leads the way. I don't think he's going to make it all the way to the end without a second stop. But Ideally, you'd want to get to at least lap 22 before you would pit for that last round of soft tyres. There's James Hunt on soft tyres. He's popping a lap on Mazzario after Mazzario's drama early on. Gets a penalty for pushing people into the... Oh, and I was going to say there's a issue, and that's Lombardi. Damage for the March driver. Jody Scheckter should get slim pickings. 3 pit stops versus the 1. It will be 2 very shortly for Layla as she pops into the pits, giving the Tyrrell of Jody Scheckter another position. But yeah, that... Where is that straw bale being put? It's right on the exit, so if you end up kind of clobbering someone slightly, that might be a problem. John Watson back out in 9th position, following his second stop. And that is Nicky Lauda coming out in 3rd place following his second stop too. So Reutemann leads with Regazzoni closing him down. He's got better hard tyres. We've also seen the slipstream is really, really powerful. Powerful around the circuit, and there is proof in the pud. Nom nom nom. Both diving past Andretti's Parnelli. Next up is Ertl in the Hesketh. Indeed, this is the problem now. They're on hard tyres, and then as soon as Andretti gets past, he's going to have to be blue flagged back out of the way again. Ooh. Problems. Andretti pushing Ertl down the straight. This isn't NASCAR. Problems for Reutemann, problems for Andretti more than anyone else. He gets a penalty, and that's going to relinquish 10th place there to Depailler in the Tyrrell. And look, Depailler is just like pushing Reutemann down, and Reutemann's had to come into the pits for a second stop. Ertl was in as well for his 4th. I was going to say 3rd, it was 4th in the end. That has absolutely buggered it for Reutemann. And that puts Regazzoni then into the lead. 3 seconds clear of Lauda, but Lauda's on soft tyres versus the harder Regazzoni. This isn't over yet with 5 to go. Reutemann then in 3rd, hard tyres. Hunt's into 4th. Jochen Mass has made his way up into 5th as Jarier and Pache pit. Fittipaldi was looking good early on, got shuffled out with problems, now into 6th place. Jacques Lafitte, very quiet race in 7. That's John Watson getting up into 8th, finally getting around Mazzario. Then it's Peterson and Depailler rounding out your top 10. So that was a change of position going on. That was Pache getting past Jarier. Everyone else relatively spread, although Lombardi and Scheckter have rejoined battle again. But look, Regazzoni now only 1.5 seconds clear of Lauda. Yes, 2 people in between. But Lauda's going to dispatch of Brambilla and Depailler, I think, relatively quickly with those soft tyres. Yep, thread in the eye of the needle. Lombardi's been in for another stop following more drama, I think, with Jody Scheckter. And look, Lombardi in the march holding up Regazzoni. Again, this is the old hard tyres versus new softs, and because the field is so tightly spread, you'll just end up in trouble and drama together. As look, Lauda pushing his teammate. Oh dear. This has Ferrari disaster written all over it. And Lauda's into the hay bales and drops right the way back. Lombardi really trying to cause issues there as Scheckter's in trouble. Scheckter will be in the pits, and I think actually Lauda will keep going. It's only the last lap now. Surely you wouldn't pit for that. And look, he's coming straight back at Regazzoni again. Clay desperately trying to hold on in those knackered hard tyres. Ronnie Peterson's Lotus is just up ahead. Is he going to get in the way? No, he gets out of the way for Regazzoni. Does not get out of the way easily enough for Lauda. Does now. Watson's now in between the two. And look, they've pushed out wide. Watson's got a penalty and holds up Lauda. And that is going to allow Clay Regazzoni to win the Grand Prix from Nicky Lauda. Whew. Carlos Reutemann, 3rd place. James Hunt silently up into 4th. Jochen Mass gets 5th. Then it's Enzo Fittipaldi in 6th. Jacques Lafitte 7, Patrick Depailler currently in 8th ahead of John Watson and Ronnie Peterson, but that might well switch by the time we get to the flag. Indeed it does. Through goes Ronnie Peterson up into 10. Sorry, yeah. 10th position. 9th position? 10th position? Who's going to get that? Oh, Watson gets it on the line. Just from Ronnie Peterson. Then Jarier just a few seconds further back. Pache, Andretti, Price, Lombardi, Scheckter, Erdl, X, Brambilla, and Mazzario, really the sacrificial lamb, sadly, with that hay bale problem early on. So that means Regazzoni has got 60 for 60, hasn't he? 2 wins on the trot. Reutemann second, then it's Lauda, Fittipaldi fourth, equal points with Hunt. But Fittipaldi, I think, has the better result. Then it's Peterson, Mass, Lafitte, Scheckter, Pache, round about the top 10. There's your second half of the field. Top 15 all in double figures already. Everyone will be double figures by the end of this. Ferrari leads the constructors quite convincingly from Brabham and McLaren. Then it's a gap back to Hesketh. Lotus just ahead of Williams and Tyrrell. Shadow just behind. Parnelli leapfrog March in the battle at the back. And we're off to a very, very, very fast and flowing version of Silverstone. Those hay bales look like they're going to cause trouble, don't they? You start to identify them very quickly. You're like, yeah, that last one's going to be a drama as well, isn't it? As again, this time Niki Lauda is the one up in front. Don't think Clay Regazzoni is going to grab pole this time. But it's still a Ferrari up front. Regazzoni grabs second, then it's Hunt. Scheckter doing well for Tyrrell up into fourth. In fact, both Tyrrells up there, 4 and 6. We'll see how that goes. The 2 Brabhams in the top 10 too. Reutemann, Pache and McLaren's with Fittipaldi and Mass. 1.7 seconds covering the field. 30 laps. I have a feeling this could be a tricky one. Lauda keeps the lead though off the line from Regazzoni. Looking at them all getting through. Oh, and he just problems before they even got round the first couple of corners for the Parnellis, Lombardi and Lafitte. But look, Lauda clear then from Regazzoni. Then it's Hunt having the start on a bend. They're clearly causing problems for loads of drivers. They're in trouble. Pache's got a penalty and is holding up loads of other people even though he's ghosted out. Love it when that happens. X in for an early stop at the end of lap 1. That might prove good as everyone else starts to battle their way through. Straight away, oh yeah, look at that in. Pache, Reutemann. And that's key there for Reutemann to be in the pits so early on. Yeah, look, X has got round all of those drivers. And there's Regazzoni taking Lauda for the win. So far, James Hunt. He's high up in the championship, nearly high up in the race, but didn't quite get it. Really tricky. Depailler there to best Tyrrell. Scheckter dropped back to 8th there off the line. Mazzario up into the top 10. Lombardi again, by virtue of staying out of trouble, has got herself up into 11. 14 down have pitted as Regazzoni pop a lap on Jarier. There's James Hunt now ahead of Niki Lauda too, interestingly, but they keep hitting each other and that's not going to help. Doesn't help anyone. Scheckter there not having a good run out of the corner. Mazzario in trouble, as is both the Parnellis back in again. Watson hadn't pitted. He has now. Andretti also in. Look, they're out just as the leaders come through, so that's... You lose so much time around an 18-second lap. Such is the speed here around this open up Silverstone version of the circuit. It's like a square oval with some kinks in. That does mean that Regazzoni is in trouble, potentially, as James Hunt gets around Lafitte and Andretti. Next up is Watson, and look, Watson gets out of the way for both. Regazzoni, those tyres are looking a little bit knackered. Hunt comes into the pits though, interestingly. On his hard tyres, they were due to do 17 to 23 laps. He's gone to softs, and look, out in clear air. That could be key. Depailler and Scheckter in, as is Mass. Reutemann and Pache come out behind. Remember, Carlos Reutemann, one of the key championship runners. This round 3 of 6. X and Peterson going at it, hammer and tongs. into team rivalry. Everyone has been into the pits then, apart from Clay Regazzoni, who has now got teammate Nicky Lauda bearing down on him. And oh, look at the speed difference that was between the two of them. Lauda then into the lead. Is Clay going to make it 3 for 3? Look at the state of those hay bales. Methinks there's been some damage. and there. Yeah. Destruction Derby has taken place. Chariot and Ertl into the pits at 12 of 30. Nearly approaching half distance. Regazzoni has been in too, and look out in amongst the Tyrrells, just ahead of Scheckter, just behind Depailler, and the beautiful blue of those Tyrrells. Continue on. Oh, and Clay Regazzoni gets a penalty. Andretti in yet again. Such a huge field spread because of the blue flags and the damage and the penalties and the pit stops. That is Regazzoni past Jochen Mass. That was for position. Next up is Jody Scheckter in the Tyrrell. Easy pickings. Bambilla's in the pits, lap down, so she's not an issue. Jarier 2, and that is Depailler being shuffled out wide by Regazzoni and then boxed in by Ertl's Hesketh. Nice manoeuvring there by Clay Regazzoni, as into the pits comes Nicky Lauda from the lead. That passes the lead to James Hunt in the Hesketh. Lauda gets out ahead of Regazzoni. Less damage, better tyres. This could work out nicely if only he can keep a little bit of distance, and immediately gets round Peterson to lap the Lotus. Enzo Fittipaldi then leading the way. James Hunt is the actual leader though, moving their way through round this extremely speedy circuit. Lap 16 of 30 already. Wow, it's gone quick. Very, very quick as James Hunt continues his squabble away. Lauda past Fittipaldi already, as they get past Lombardi. Then it's Regazzoni pushing his way through. The Tyrrells are making their way back up as well, following a second stop there by Depailler. And there we go, Lauda into the lead now. Past James Hunt. Hunt's tyres looking a little bit second hand, and if I was him, I'd be into the pits now. But James is not me, and he continues on. And to be fair, everyone's in the pits at the minute. For within a minute at least. So what else is going on? So Lauda still leading the way. That's Tom Price in the shadow. He was running in the top 10, which would be a good result for him so far. Indeed, there is Hunt, Regazzoni, Fittipaldi all in for what they're hoping would be their final stop. Hunt back out in third, Regazzoni out in fourth. Oh, Regazzoni had a good run out of that corner. Gets to get round Ix and immediately onto Hunt, who's stuck behind Vittorio Brambilla's march. Scheckter up into second at the moment in the Tyrrell. Can he make that last on the older hard tyres? No is the answer. Through goes Hunt, through goes Regazzoni. But if Jody is able to keep himself out of trouble, this has the potential of being a very nifty result for the Tyrrell team, although Depailler is closing down him quite quickly as Enzo goes right the way around the outside, catches the grass. Jody Scheckter gets back in front in the Tyrrell. Enzo Fittipaldi's Ferrari stuck behind for a few more corners. I don't think it'll be for long though. Scheckter's stuck behind Tom Price. No, cuts him off. Into the pits comes Scheckter. Been battle rammed into submission. I think I might have to do one of these races where I turn damage off. It causes too much drama, doesn't it? Nicky Lauda then into the pits for the last stop for him in the Ferrari. He's going to get out ahead of Hunt. Oh, just is the answer. Hunt right behind, but Regazzoni gets back through. Clay's got himself back up into a position where he's got the potential for winning again. Nicky Lauda, though, has the fresher tyres and less damage, so. But Lauda is coming across all the traffic first, and that's the problem there, as he gets round John Watson, running 19th, having a torrid season at the moment. Regazzoni's then up to second. Hunt third and dropping back somewhat. Fittipaldi, I think, might be interested in that. How's Scheckter getting on with his newer tyres and the softs? Yeah, Jochen Mass, I think, might be up for swapping. And indeed, straight off the bat, Jody Scheckter's Tyrrell says thank you very much, I'll have 5th. Great move by Jody. Now the 2.4 clear there of Regazzoni, who's got an awful lot of traffic holding him back. He's gone to 2.4 seconds to 3.9. Oh dear, Lombardi's the next one in trouble. Oh, Lauda though, look at the squabble going on here. That's Carlos Reutemann being lapped, who's having a torrid time of things actually. Well, he's up in 7th, but that car looks knackered and Depailier's just got through, and I think actually he might run into more trouble indeed again as Lauda. 3.7 then clear. Andretti and Jarier in trouble. He was only being pushed out wide as Peterson desperately trying to unlap himself. Yeah, it is the back markers and all of the drama going on here that's really just caused problem after problem. I do wonder if some people might conk it out before getting over the line because it's become such a destruction derby. But Niki Lauda is going to stop Clay Regazzoni's complete clean sweep of the season on round 3, and he takes the win. Regazzoni still says thank you very much, I'll have 2nd though. So it's a Ferrari 1-2. Jody Scheckter gets 3rd. Tyrrell on a podium, great result for them. Hunt 4th. Fittipaldi 5. Mass 6. Pallier 7. Rounding out potentially a great day there for Tyrrell. Reutemann will do well to hold on to 8th ahead of Pache. Tom Price grabs 10th position ahead of Ix. Peterson, Lombardi, Mazario and with your top 15. Then it was Lafitte, Andretti, Brambilla, Watson, Jean-Pierre Jarier in the shadow rounds out the point scorers. So, yeah, everyone in double digits, and Mario Andretti is currently last in the championship. Who would have thought that in the Parnelli JPV4? And 2 marchers. Watson, Ix, Mazario, the 2 shadows. Lafitte is the best of the Williams, and then those results for Tyrrell leapfrogging them into the top 10, particularly Scheckter there moving up into 7th place with that excellent result. And then it was Mass in 6th, Fittipaldi 5th, Hunt 4th, Reutemann 3rd, but a clear gap now as the 2 Ferraris go at it for their championship. Lauda closing in slightly on Regazzoni. Okay, I might run into some issues here with the fact that this is going to be a 30-lap race. I didn't think this through, did I? Let's have a look at the Nordschleife and just how great this circuit is and how utterly chaotic it is too. As the field make their way around. A little of hay bales going on as well. But yeah, look, 7 laps maximum for the softs. Wiggle, wiggle. Okay, this is going to be a long ass race. I apologise in advance. But who's on pole? It's a Ferrari front row again, only 2.7 separating the field as well, so no bad, no bad. Off the line though, Regazzoni on the hard tyres keeps the lead. No, he doesn't. Lauda sneaks his way through into the lead, and that's exactly what he needed to do. As look, Jackie Ix, welcome to the championship, Jackie. Dives himself up into 2nd position, just about, as Depaillier up there as well, as is Scheckter in the Tyrrells. They make their way through, but look, oh, Enzo Fittipaldi is in trouble. Indeed, I think we might run into some issues here with cars in real calamitous damage. Carlos Pache, one of them. Look at the spray spearing out the back. Enzo Fittipaldi is the other one, and that's going to have big championship ramifications for Fittipaldi. He's 5th in the championship. He doesn't want to conk out before he gets to the end. But look at just how knackered his car is as they make their way over the line. Lauda, Ix, Regazzoni, Depaillier, look, loads into the pits. Absolutely loads. And Pache, his car's broken. But he makes it through, and actually what that's done is conveniently spread the cars out in a way that I think will help the survival of this race as we continue on. Grab yourself some snacks and popcorn. This is going to be a long one. There's Ertl up into 9th position. We've barely seen the Hesketh up that far in the hands of Ertl, at least anyway. And he's ahead of teammate Hunt. Well, Hunt has been into the pits. Charrier last in the previous race, running 11th this time around. Have we got people in the pits? Yes, we have. Jackie Ix is in, and Ix is out very nicely in 6th position after a pit stop. That's worked out beautifully for him. Ahead of James Hunt, and with more tyres. Feet Mazzario, that's Lombardi into the pits. Back out in 20th. But Niki Lauda then leads the way from Clay Regazzoni. Soft versus hard tyres. Hard tyres go to lap 7 to 10, interestingly. Oh, Tyrrell, don't do this to yourself. You're in a great position, 4 and 5. And I think, well, definitely Scheckter will be in. Maybe Depailler too. But that, if that damage has all come from that battle, and Reutemann's in as well, that is a Tyrrell self-infliction. Yeah, Depailler is going to be a sitting duck there for Ix. Hunt, there's Reutemann, Scheckter, Jarier, Enzo, Ertl. Not quite sure what line that is, but you take it, mate. Andretti, there's Watson up into 12th and Napanelli just behind his teammate. But Andretti's got quite a bit of damage. Currently sitting last in the championship. I think he's about to get mauled by his teammate. Oh, shown the door, as is Ronnie Peterson. Jacques Lafitte doing some nice sizable moves. There's again both Ferraris yet to pit. I think Depailler is popping into the pits. Yes, he is in the Tyrrell. I'll drop down the order, and I think some of these will be back in for another stop. They can't stop, just smash. Oh, Jochen! Hello. I'm so confused. It's like he's... Where does the game think he is? I think we're going to have our first DNF. And it is Jochen Mass. And look at that, the two Ferraris. Oh, Lauda decides at the very last second there to get into the pits. I think... Oh, he's not going to... He's going to be a drama, isn't he? Let's keep on Mass and see. Hunt into the pits. Depailler goes through. So does Ertl. Fittipaldi in. Watson continues. Jarier needs to pit. Pache's gone through, as is Lafitte. I think he's far enough away. Peterson taking Lombardi, I think. We'll soon see as they come back round again. Oh, Price gets past his teammate. Yeah. Yowzers. Right, well, as this race is going to constantly like spread out and just take a while to sort out, whilst we're going through all of this, I get quite a lot of comments in the YouTube chat, but then also on other social media platforms around Ultimate Racing 2D2 and what you can and can't do with this game. So let's take a moment to just have a think about that, or have a quick chat about it as Watson pops into the pits. Drops down to 10th place. Ooh, there's a few more in there. Pache in as well. So Jarier gets around Price. And Barambilla is about to be absolutely Pete and Tonged by Andretti and Mazzario. Oh! Okay, we have an AI problem. Unless he's going to get going again? Yeah, it's as if they get caught in several areas. So, number one with this game, you can create your own AI lines. And some of them can be improved from the actual in-game itself, as Reutemann leads now from Lauda, who gets a penalty. Regazzoni in trouble. We need to make sure that he makes his way home. Otherwise, this could be a big championship swing. But if you want to download these mods, what you have to do is when you buy the game on Steam, you go onto the Steam workshop, and then you have a scroll through what it is that you want, be that tracks, bearing in mind that most of the tracks do not have working AI lines, so it's more about time trial and if you want to play online with other people. That's what the tracks are for. The easier ones that kind of make sense for and are playable by everyone are the car mods. You can then, what you need to do is subscribe to each of the things that you want to download, and Steam will automatically download it in the background for you, so long as you've not played with any of the weird and wonderful Steam settings. As James Hunt's now in trouble, as is John Watson. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. James Hunt and John Watson are now out. What is this going to do to... This is going to be a survival of the fittest, isn't it? Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, wow. Let's get back up to our leading lot. Ooh, someone got hit there. It's the two Tyrrells battling over podium positions with Reutemann. Let's keep an eye on this. Lauda not too far up the road. What you need to do is when you subscribe to the mods, be that cars or tracks, they then get installed into your Ultimate Racing 2D2. And then when you go into either choosing a championship or a free race, it becomes part of your selection, but you have to go past the initial cars to then find them as additional options. They don't kind of naturally flow on in the menu, they kind of come afterwards. So yeah, that's how you find the tracks and the cars. Loads and loads of comments around how you get that. So I think it's a really, really simple and easy method of doing it. What you do see though is that if you aren't subscribed to something anymore, or if a mod has been deleted, then you'll start to get empty squares, or like this circuit is no longer updated, kind of marked everywhere. You can still play some of this stuff though. It's just that if you want the latest version of something, then you'll need to ensure that you've kind of resubscribed and got things back up to date again. Yeah, this game is an absolute blast to play. As you can see, there are issues with it as Depailler and Lauda squabble with Fittipaldi coming out of the pits. Some of this is done by some inefficient AI markings. Some of it is by wonky track design sometimes. There are some people that make some absolutely superb tracks and mods out there though. If you do want to try and test out some of the stuff where you've got tracks that do have AI lines on, the general principle is that those tracks will have AI lines included in the title. As always though, someone's idea of an AI line is a bit flexible, so sometimes it is not quite correct. And so it does kind of get a little bit wonky. There's loads and loads of different types of cars in the game. You can go in obviously and start to arrange some of the settings in the game for each of the mods of the car sets too. As X is under pressure, Scheckter's going to go through and dive up into second. Not for long though. Oh, and Reutemann then gets a penalty, and I'm not quite sure why. But as you can see, the penalty system is a bit wonky, sometimes needs some work. The air lines do need a little bit of work as well. Outside of that though, the game runs really, really stably, easy to play, fun to participate on, fun to watch, as this series has come to kind of show. Is that Niki Lauda in trouble? No! Lauda's the latest one. That is huge for the championship. Absolutely huge. That gives Clay Regazzoni potentially an issue. And I think that's going to be Patrick Depailler is going to be the next problem. No, Depailler has continued on. Okay, we're all right. As did Ertl there. I thought he was going to be in trouble too. Lafitte and Pache continue. Is that going to be Peterson as the next one? I don't know what is causing the problems with this specific... Is he going to turn or is he going to be okay? No, he's okay. It's as if you miss the corner, it then doesn't know what to do and it tries to drag you back on again. And then it's as if it kind of then goes, oh no, you need to go X, Y and Z, and then it will try and turn itself back around, and that's why it gets stuck. It needs more AI logic to kind of go, no, this is the racing line, get yourself back on again, and understand if there's a barrier in the way, I think. When you're doing track design and AI lines, it reminds me very much of the game Gene Rally, one of my all-time favourites. Where you draw out the lines, is Jackie X getting back past Jody Scheckter as they try and pop a lap on Nazario. God, we're only at half distance. Epic. Yeah, Reutemann leading the way from Clay Regazzoni, who has really just been handed the championship, hasn't he? So long as he keeps going and scores well. X then up to third. There's Jody Scheckter now in fourth after another pit stop. Enzo Fittipaldi, he's stopped 4 times, but he's up into fifth. Oh, that's Ertl in sixth. Is he about to become a problem? No, but Depailler is. Where is Depailler? Let's get him back. Oh, the Tyrrell driver is our next retirement. Ah, what a shame for Tyrrell. So there's Ertl getting around Tom Price. Smith versus Shadow. Jacques Lafitte then up to 10th. Brambilla to 12th. Peterson goes to 13th. And Lombardi and Nazario swapping positions actually there in the battle for 14th and 15th. The last of the runners. 4 stops 5 for Ronnie Peterson. Probably safer to go through the pits, to be honest, as you don't get into this weird little bug. But Clay Regazzoni then leads the way because of Carlos Reutemann's new pit stop. So on lap 17, here's an issue. There's Jacques Lafitte again there, just skipping corners. Manages to keep it going, just about. Brambilla into the pits. Yeah. Oh no, Ronnie Peterson's the next one to run into issues. Oh, but Lombardi's hit him. Is that going to get him going? Oh no. Now Ronnie Peterson is conked out on the main straight. We're going to have some problems. Oh, Pache. Tactical pit stop. Oh dear. Oh, it was in trouble too. Indeed, look at this all causing problems. What I'm going to do... can't do driver speed up for that. Lafitte's now in trouble too. Ertl's in there. Oh, it's all going a bit wrong, isn't it? Do we think that we should call it? It was looking like a good old championship for Regazzoni anyway. There's Lafitte and Ertl now in trouble. I mean, it is going a little bit Monaco 96. Slowly but surely. Although Jody Scheckter's only a second and a half behind on the soft tyres. Well, he does need to pit. Well, they both need to pit. Oh no, Regazzoni could... No, Regazzoni would need to pit. What is going on there? Oh no! Jarier! No! Okay. Well, I think we've had a good bit of fun with this mod. There's Peterson just conked out randomly. He's got quite far around the track though. There's Peterson. That's... Ertl there being pushed around, as is Lafitte. So yeah, this is what can happen when you've got AI getting all a bit confused. So it shows the very best of Ultimate Racing 2D2. It shows the very worst too. I'm going to park this here and leave it for the rest of the day. I hope you enjoy this random excerpt into the F1 1975 mod. I really do like this mod though. It handles quite well to actually play and drive with as well. But yeah, I know people don't necessarily come here to watch me drive terribly. They come here to watch chaotic commentated championships like this piece of tosh. Note to self, 30 laps round Nord's life. Don't do that again. You guys will take care. Well done, Clay Regazzoni. You have won the championship by default. And the year has been cancelled off in respect for the Queen. Take care.